What's up, guys? British dude. There's levels to this. If you don't get it, you won't get it. Anyways, the PC life. Want to get in the PC life? Some people think PC life is pointless, and some already in the PC life. You know, like me. And I'll tell you, the PC life is a great life. It's a really good life. You know. But it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about right now in this video. Whether the PC life is for you, how you should be, approaching the PC life. If you've already, it's a definite yes for you. You want to join the PC life. And even if you already, living that PC life, this video can be, for you too. So, since we're on YouTube, the first topic is gonna be creators and streamers. If you're a creator, you're a streamer, definitely get a PC. I'll say this now, if you have a modern phone, if you have a modern iPhone, modern even some of the old Samsungs, you can be fine with that. You can make content like completely off that and all that be fine. But if you want to record gameplay off your Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, you're gonna need a PC or a laptop, and you're gonna need a capture card for sure. Depending on what you want out of your PC will depend on how much power you'll end up getting. Now, if you just want like something that'll work with a capture card, right? So you can, record your gameplay on console, you can very much just get a simple laptop. It doesn't have to be a crazy one. Obviously, has to have at least 8 gigabytes of RAM, a decent CPU, and, that's about it, You can even see the Elgato and the ARGH like requirement specs. They're pretty low, because, most of the work is done by the device they give you that records the gameplay. So you're definitely a console gamer, you're not gonna do nothing crazy on your computer, get a laptop. That'll be enough for you. I did hear that Elgato does have an app on iPad, but I don't know how good it is, so I can't recommend that to you, but it is a thing if you want to look into that. But yeah, if you are gonna go crazy on your PC, you want to play video games, you want to play and stream, or you want to game sometimes and still stream from your console, you kind of need a decent, PC, if you want to be able to do the gaming as well. Nothing too crazy. You could probably get something for like $500, $800 that can play a decent amount of games and stream just fine. I say that's really it from the creator / streamer side. You don't need an insane PC. You really don't. Don't let these YouTubers that have 5090s, the latest Ryzen CPU, latest Intel CPU, don't let that scare you, because you don't need that. They're just at a point where they can afford that and they choose to get that, but you truly don't need that. You don't need that at all. Like me, I have a modest PC. I have a 5950X and a 4070 Ti. Now, I know that doesn't sound crazy modest, but it's also not that crazy expensive compared to a 5090 and the latest CPU. I mean, before I even had a Ryzen 7 5800X and a 16600 XT, and that was perfect for me. Before I had a Dell Optiplex, and I was still doing this YouTube stuff. Before it was just my Fire tablet, my Amazon Fire, so you can start anywhere. Don't let tech be the reason why you can't start. All of our devices are capable of, creating. For my editors and my artists. Now, if you're an artist, like you do digital art, you probably don't need a crazy PC as well. Art is very simple on a computer because you're just drawing. Not to take away from what it is, but you know, it doesn't like go crazy in your computer, so you can get a regular laptop for that as well. If you do more, you know, stuff in Illustrator, Photoshop, you're gonna need a little better computer, but not that much crazier. You know, at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, a very good CPU, at least an i5 Intel, any generation, and I say that, you know, you're set for that. If you're an editor, you're definitely gonna want a bit of a godly PC. Nothing too crazy, but you know, something, you know, preferably a NVIDIA card. Because, you know, a lot of people, they be like, oh, just get AMD, it's cheaper, yada yada yada. No, do not just get an AMD card. AMD cards are good for gaming, they have great rasterization performance, but they're not good at everything, and their software, well, not their software, their drivers are very buggy. So you have a lot of problems if you ever want to game as well. You know, not all the time, but sometimes you'll run into those problems and you gotta download a new beta driver or something just to get, you know, just to get something working. NVIDIA, they just work most of the time. As fucked up as a company they are, they just work, you know? And yeah, I say, oh wait, no, I'm not finished. And also, so NVIDIA card, I say like a 3060, right? 3060, maybe 2080, maybe 2060, right? At least 32 gigabytes of RAM, 64 if you can. CPU, just go Intel or Ryzen, but you know, since it's a budget-centric build, might as well just get an Intel CPU so you're covered right there. You'll have Intel QuickSync, which is supported by most editing softwares. That's really good. And yeah, I say that's it, you know, for the editors and artists section. You know, that's the kind of PC you'd want, you know, if you're in that type of field. And now for gaming, this is my favorite part. I love gaming on my PC. It's just the smoothness, the fluidity. The above 60, I know consoles at 120 now. I have Xbox. I'm a Xbox brony. I used to have a PlayStation 2. I was a pony at one point, you know, and I used to have a Switch. I'm gonna buy a Switch 2. I'm a Nintendo drone too. I love my consoles, but that's because I also just love gaming in general, right? So yeah, gaming on PC is just amazing. And not only, you know, you get to play the newest titles, you get to also play older titles that are not well supported by consoles anymore, like stuff on the PS3, PS2, Xbox 360, OG Xbox, you know, that's easily accessible on PC. And even if you know, don't have the funds, there's other ways per se. We'll talk about that later though. But if you want a gaming centric PC, definitely get a 3D CPU, a 3D Ryzen CPU. It can be any of them. Honestly, all of them are good. Just get the one that fits within your budget. RAM, you can definitely get 16, but the standard is slowly becoming 32 now. So if you can't get 32, get 32, but you're good with 16. GPU, you can go either Ryzen or NVIDIA. If you want a frictionless experience, get NVIDIA. But you can get a AMD GPU and it'll be fine. You'll have more VRAM. Just know that better be a very gaming centric computer. It's not difficult to do other things per se, but if you're editing on the same computer or like using Blender, it's not really, you know, that nice with a AMD GPU compared to an NVIDIA. So if you just want something that covers everything, you don't have to worry about nothing, get NVIDIA. Alright, there's some good deals on eBay, Jawa, you know, shit like that, Facebook Marketplace. There's some good deals, you know, on there. So just get a good NVIDIA card. Make sure it has at least like 10 gigabytes of VRAM, 8 or 10. Some people will call me crazy for the 8, but I'm assuming most of you that are watching this video have 1080p monitors, so it's not gonna make a huge difference. right? So if you know, just get an 8 or 10 and above. Don't get anything below 8, obviously. But if you get below 8 gigabytes of VRAM, you're not running nothing besides Half-Life. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with y'all. That's just how it is. And I think that covers it, you know, for the gaming section. For casual use, again, a laptop, even if you have a Samsung phone, it is a computer built into it. It's called Samsung DeX. I don't know whether or not your Samsung might support it, but it is a thing, and it basically turns your phone into a computer. You just gotta buy like a separate, like a deck per se, kind of like how the Switch works, but not the Switch, obviously. You can plug in your monitor, your mouse, your keyboard, your controllers, all that. You can use GeForce. You can use all your mobile apps with the keyboard and mouse controls. You can watch, you know, YouTube, all that. So, you know, that's a simple. I think there's also one for OnePlus as well. I forgot the name of it, but there's one similar to Samsung DeX on OnePlus phones. So that would be good for y'all. And yeah, I think that covers casual use. Handheld PCs. I guess this also falls in like the casual use / gaming category. I'll say if you want to play Call of Duty, get like an Asus ROG Ally or the Legion Go. Definitely. If you're not really gonna be playing like multiplayer shooters that have like anti-cheat, you can definitely go for a Steam Deck. Steam Decks are really good. They do got Linux on it though. So if you want to do stuff like emulation and you're not familiar with Linux, it might not be for you, because you're gonna have to use Linux to get like the emulator stuff. You can't obviously download it off Steam, because the Steam Deck, like the main thing is like the Steam OS, and like whenever you want to do other stuff, you have to go into Linux. If you're not familiar with Linux or don't like Linux, don't get a Steam Deck. If you're okay with just using the Steam OS UI and playing your Steam games that don't have anti-cheat or support Linux, because anti-cheat can support Linux, but people who deal with anti-cheat, they're too lazy. They're too lazy to flip one button. So yeah, TLDR, if you want to play anti-cheat games, you know, Call of Duty, Valorant, I don't think you're gonna play Valorant on your handheld device, but it's just an example, right? You get a ROG Ally, get a Legion Go. If you're just gonna do like indie games, straight up Steam games, emulated games, yeah, you can go with a Steam Deck. Now, speaking of emulation, you can go a lot of ways with emulation. You can either get like a mini Formus off Amazon, like, you know, those mini PCs, and you can run a decent amount of, you know, emulators like PS1, PS2, original Xbox to some extent, because, you know, those, they're very weak. Like, a lot of people don't know, like, realized, like, back in the day, like, it was memorizing to us, but nowadays, you know, you could find something equivalent to original Xbox at your local pawn shop for like $5. You know, you don't even have to actually buy an Xbox. You can just buy a mini PC, buy an old Dell Optiplex or something, clean it up, download Xemu, and as simple as that. You know, even laptops are capable of pretty good, you know, emulation. I say if you want to do stuff like PS3 emulation, PS4, 360, you might need a little beefier, you know, laptop, little beefier computer. Something similar to what I said in like the gaming section. If you're gonna do more, you know, just simpler stuff like Game Boy, PS1, PS2, there's an Xbox, any old laptop, even your phone can do that. Like Delta on iOS, that's really good. I think that does DS and Game Boy, maybe 3DS too, I don't know. I haven't looked too deep in it, but I know it does exist. Emulation is also something you can do on your phone. So, oh yeah, and there's, you know, Dolphin. It's a GameCube and Wii emulator. Dolphin is just perfect. It's like the best emulator, like out of all the emulators. Like, they've done that so well. It can run on anything. Now, granted, if you're running on like 1 gigahertz, it probably won't run. But I mean, that's obvious. But most of us have like slightly better than that, surely, right? Yeah, emulation is cool. Very easy, barrier entry. Don't need to spend a fortune. You can just download ROMs like off the internet. More times than not, you know, you have an ad blocker, you won't get a virus. If you're not stupid and download the wrong thing, you won't get a virus going on these ROM sites. You know, just have some common sense. You know, I know it's not very common anymore, but just have some common sense. And the final topic I want to talk about for the PC life, and it's that ARG. I'm not gonna say it, but ARG. I'll put a link down in the description. It's a very helpful tool and guide. It's a Reddit community that'll teach you all about ARGing, all about pillaging and taking booty, if you get my drift. So I'll put that down in the description. It is very easy. You just need a decent VPN, obviously an ad blocker, and common sense. You know, a lot of shit on the internet is very easy. You just need some common sense, man. Just don't be stupid on the internet. Make sure you're protected and don't click any random link. Don't click stuff that come up in pop-ups. You know, stuff like that. I mean, once you get the gist of that, pirating is great. I said it. Alright, I already said it. So yeah, it's great. You get to play almost any game you want on launch for completely free. Now, is it ethical? Nobody gives a fuck. Let's be honest. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. If these companies can take our games away at any time, and they're just like a digital key that you really can lose at any point at all, and these companies won't care to replace it, why should you care if you pirate a game? Why should you care at all? There's no point in giving a shit. We're just here to have fun, play video games, and then move on with our day, you know? So yeah, the PC life is great. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. It doesn't have to be expensive though. It doesn't have to. But you know, it is an option. So, you know, don't let it scare you. Join the PC life. So yeah, that's it. Peace.